Hello dear students, today I will discuss part 7 of Unit 8 coordination compound. As in previous lecture, I told you about crystal field theory. This theory basically explains optical properties and therefore called as crystal field theory. And according to that theory, the bonding between a central atom and a ligand is purely electrostatic, that is ionic, and ignore the covalent characters in coordination compound. I also told you the splitting of d orbitals due to presence of ligands. I also told you about the spectrochemical series, the series which arrange the ligands in order of increasing field strength. Out of them, basically you have to learn the more strong field ligands, that is CO, Cn minus, then NO2 minus, En and ammonia. Out of these, CO is the strongest field ligands. And I also told you that splitting of d orbitals in octahedral complex, they contains two type of orbitals, T2g and Eg. T2g have lower energy in octahedral complexes than Eg, and in tetrahedral complexes the crystal field splitting take place just reverse the octahedral complex, that is Eg having the lower energy than T2g. So nowadays students, let us discuss some more important points of Unit 8 for examination point of view. So after studying part 7, you will be able to know again how to calculate the oxidation number, because this is more important for writing the formula and also for writing the name of the complex. Then color of the transition metal complexes, basically 3D series. Then crystal field stabilization energy, that is CF, SC. Then calculation of crystal field stabilization energy, how to calculate the crystal field stabilization energy. Then limitation of crystal field theory, that means what are the limitations, that means which things cannot be explained by crystal field theory. Then crystal field stabilization energy and electronic arrangement in octahedral complexes, that is the arrangement of d electrons in presence of strong field and weak field ligands. So these things will be explained here. So first of all, focus on the oxidation state. So look, a complex are given here, CO, Cl, NO2 in parenthesis, NH3 का whole 4, then square bracket again plus charge. So now I told you that the charge on the complex equal to oxidation state of central atom plus charge on the ligands. So look at here. Here you have to find the oxidation state of central atom, that is X, the given here. The charge on Cl is -1, the charge of NO2 is -1, and the charge of ammonia is 0. And total negative charge is -2. And the coordination number of the given complex is 6. So now find the net charge on the complex ions, given like +1. So then now you have to find the value of X, that is the central metal atom oxidation number. The X -2 plus equal to +1, the X equal to +3. So by this way you can find the oxidation state of central atom. So similarly you can find the charge on complex. The one formula I have told you, charge on complex equal to charge on central atom, that is oxidation number of central atom plus charge on the ligands. So if you want to find the charge on the complex, you have to write like this. If you know the charge on the CO, that is +3, so +3 -2 equal to X, that's why X equal to +1. So by this way you can also find the charge on the complex. So this is very important for examination point of view. Nowadays students, next point, color of transition metal complexes. So this I told you in the D block elements, that is unit 7. A color associated with the transition metal complexes is due to the transition of electron between d orbitals, that is from T2g to Eg in octahedral complexes and from Eg to T2g in tetrahedral complexes. So nowadays students, such transition are basically known as d-d transition. Next, the transition metal complexes absorb some selected wavelength of visible light and appear colored. For example, anhydrous copper sulfate is white, but hydrated copper sulfate is blue in color. This is basically, now here what the water act as ligands, and due to which the change in energy take place, and that's why you know that one formula E equal to Sc by lambda. So by this way, here the change in energy, change in wavelength, and this create the color. So by this way you can know the change in color, and also you can find the energy if wavelength are given. So nowadays students, let us take an example. The influence of ligand on the color of a complex may be illustrated by considering the one example, that is Ni water का whole 6 square bracket 2 plus complex, which form when Ni, that is nickel second chloride, is dissolved in water. Now if the didentate ligands, that is ethane 1 diamines, that is En, is progressively added in the molar ratio of, that is En ratio nickel 1:1, 2:1 and 3:1. So the following series of reactions and their associated color change occurs. So look the table here. Here nickel 2 plus ratio En, mole ratio are given. First in case 1:1. Now reaction and color change. Look here. Nickel water whole 6 square bracket 2 plus aqueous. Now En replace 1 water molecules. This is because En is more strong field ligand than water. That's why replacement take place. Here Ni water का whole 4 En in parenthesis, as you know that En is the bidentate ligands. So here the coordination number should be balanced. That's why 4 water and 1 En both give 6 coordination number to the nickel. Now the replacement 2 water take place. Now look the color. Before replacement of water the color is green, but after replacement by En 1 En the now color change pale blue. Second, in 1:2 ratio again seen the pale blue colors. After addition of En 1 more En, the replacement 2 water take place. Now the color is blue or purple. Now when the ratio is 1:3, in that condition, look the condition. If 1 more En replace all the water molecules, and now the color from blue purple to violet change. That's also indicate the change in color due to change in energy after addition of strong field ligands. So that's why the ligands when added they can also change the color. Now this thing I will also given in unit 7 DNA block elements, the color wheel. So look the color wheel, that is known as Munson color wheel. Here this color wheel demonstrate which color each compound will appear if it only has one absorption in the visible spectrum. For example, if the compound absorbs red light, it will appears green. So look the opposite colors are basically complementary colors. So look this again, red complementary green, yellow complementary violet, orange complementary blue. So this is known as Munsell color wheel. Now one more examples is given here to better understand the topic, that is color in metal complexes. Now yellow, white and blue light are passage to the copper sulfate solution, that is hydrated copper sulfate solution, but only blue light are transmitted. So that's why yellow and white light absorb and only blue light is transmitted. So that's why the color of this complex is blue. So dear students, let again focus on light absorption and transmission. So as you know that a substance appears colored because it absorbs light at a specific wavelength in the visible part of electromagnetic radiation, that is 400 to 700 nanometer, and transmit or reflect the rest of the wavelength. And you know that each wavelength of visible light represents different colors. So that's why the light absorption and transmission also related to each other. Now think about that. If the wavelength of photon absorbed by an ion lies outside the visible region, that is VIBGYOR, then the transmitted light look the same as the incident light, that is white, and the ions appear colorless. So these are some basic concept about the absorption of light and transmission of light. So now students, again come effect of the ligands on the color of coordination compound. So look here, here coordination compounds are given. only the one ligands are replaced, and that's why the color of compound will be changed. So look at here, in first case COCl ammonia का whole 5 square bracket NO3 whole twice is given, but in second case now Cl is replaced by Br. Now look the color, here color is changed, then again Br replaced by I, again the change in color take place. Rest of the ligands are same and counter ion also same, but only one ligand change, that also change the color. Then now I replaced by the NO2, now again the change in color take place. Then sulfate ions are replaced the NO2, again the color of change take place. Then SO4 replaced by CO3, that is carbonate ions, so again the color of compound will take place. So that's why this denote that the change in ligands also change the color of the given compound. So these all about the color of the coordination compound. I think that you very well understand about the color. Now dear students, one example is given, that is workout example. Identify the complex which are expected to be colored and explained. So this can be explained by the d orbital configuration. First of all, you have to find the charge on given compound, and then you can find the d orbital configuration, and also you have to know the strong field and weak field activity. So now look at here, what happens. First in first case titanium NO3 का whole 4 square bracket, they contains no charge. So now here titanium has +4 charge, so that's why this have no d electrons. In case of second case, that is copper CS3 Cn का whole 4, that is methyl cyanide square bracket plus BF4 minus. So BF4 minus is a counter ions. Now here copper contains basically +1 charge, so that's why this contains d10 electrons. Now in third case Cr NH3 whole 6 square bracket 3 plus and 3 Cl minus. Now the chromium contains +3 charge. In this condition the chromium contains 3d electron, that is 3 electrons in 3d orbitals. And in case of fourth, that is K3 BF6, here vanadium contains +3 charge, so that's why vanadium contains 2 electrons in d orbitals. So now look the configuration of d orbitals. So this denote that the answer number, that is third and fourth, are colored because of Cr3 plus ion in Cr NH3 whole 6 square bracket 3 plus and B3 plus in BF6 3 minus have 3D 3 and 3D2 configuration respectively, and thus show DD transition, and hence these compounds are colorful. So this type of questions may be solved like this. So now dear students, let us focus on crystal field stabilization energy, that is CFSE. So this is basically very important for understanding the strong field and weak field activity. This type of question do not ask in the board examinations, but this is the requirement of chapter, that's why I explain here. When splitting of D subcell occurs, the occupation of lower energy T2G level by electrons causes a stabilization of complex, but the occupation of EG level causes a rise in energy. So nowadays students, calculations show that the T2G level drop by 0.4 delta, whereas EG level raised by 0.6 delta. Here delta is crystal field splitting energy. This means that overall change in energy. So the CFSE will be given by the following formula. Look the formula, CFSE equal to delta square bracket 0.4 n T2G minus 0.6 n EG square bracket close. Now dear students, look at here, N T2G and N EG are the number of electrons in T2G and EG levels respectively. So by this way you can find the CFSC by knowing the electrons in T2G and EG orbitals. Now dear students, the CFSC is 0 for ions with D0 and D10 configuration in both strong field and weak field. Now dear students, the CFC is also 0 for D5 configuration in a weak field. So now students, to understand the concept, the CFSC for, that is crystal field stabilization energy for some complexes is calculated to be as follows. There one complex is given CO NH3 whole 6 square bracket 3 plus. In this condition CO contains plus 3 charge. Now look the conditions. Ammonia is a basically strong field ligands, so that's why this cause pairing of electrons, and the CO contains D6 electron, so that's why all the electrons are paired in T2G orbitals and no electrons in the EG orbitals. So now here the wavelength is given, that is 22,900 centimeter inverse. So by this wavelength, that is the value of basically delta. So we can calculate the CFSC. This is equal to 22,900. This is the value of delta. And now in bracket 0.4 into 6. 6 is the number of electron in T2G orbitals minus 0.6 into 0. Here EG contains no electrons, so that's why this is 0. So now your answer is 54,960 centimeter inverse. By putting this value in the energy formula, you can calculate E equal to SC by lambda. So that means by using this equation you can calculate the energy. Now the second example, CO En का whole thrice square bracket 3 plus. Now look at here. Here's chromium is in plus 3 state. As you know that En contains no charge, it is in the neutral bidentate molecules. So that's why all the charge on the chromium which are shown here. In that condition, chromium contains D3 electrons, that is 3D3 configuration, and all the 3 electrons are in the T2G orbitals, no electrons in the EG orbitals. Here again delta given 21,900 centimeter inverse. Now can calculate CFSC equal to 29,900 in square in bracket 0.4 into 3 electrons in the T2G orbitals minus 0.6 into 0 electron in the EG orbitals. So this will gives 26,280 centimeter inverse. So by this way you can also calculate the energy by using the formula E equal to SC by lambda. Now one more questions here like this may be asked. You calculate the CFSC for Mn water ka whole 6 square bracket 2 plus. Look again here, in some places water is written H2O, but basically donor atom is O, so that's why written like this. So look at here, in Mn it contains plus 2 charge. As you know that water is neutral molecules, so that's why it has no charges. So all the charge of the complex is basically the charge of Mn. In this condition Mn have 3d5 electrons, and as you know that water is basically weak field ligands, so no pairings occurs. So that's why all the electrons are filled according to Hund's rule. So in this condition basically what happened, T2G contains 3 electrons and EG contains 2 electrons. So look at condition again, delta given 22,900 centimeter inverse. Now you can calculate CFSC. This equal to 22,900 in bracket 0.4 into 3 electron T2G and 0.6 into 2 electrons in EG. Now the answer will be 0 centimeter inverse. So that's why no crystal field stabilization energy is required here. So that's why I told you that in D0, D10 and D5 conditions in weak field, that is in weak field only you have to see the D5 configuration, otherwise D0 and D10 in this condition either strong field ligands are attached or weak field ligands are attached, so nothing will be happen. Now these are about the crystal field splitting energy and crystal field stabilization energy. Now students, let us focus on the limitation of crystal field theory. So the crystal field model is successfully explain the formation, structures, colors and magnetic property of coordination compound to a large extent. However, from the assumptions that the ligands are point charges, it follows that anionic ligand should exert the greatest splitting effect. But the anionic ligands actually act as weak field ligands are found at the low end of spectrochemical series. Then further, it does not take into account the covalent character of bonding between the ligands and central atom. So these are basic drawback. So out of which basically he ignored the covalent bonding in coordination compound. He take the bonding between ligands and central atom as purely electrostatic. So that is the drawback of this theory. Nowadays students, these are some of the weakness of crystal field theory which are explained by ligand field theory. Ligand field theory is not in course, but one thing you have to know that this theory explains the covalent bonding also in coordination compound and molecular orbital theory. This theory I told you in class 11, that is MOT. He told about the formation of bonding and anti-bonding molecular orbitals, but in this chapter there is no requirement of to learn this theory. So that's why these are some reasons by which crystal field theory needed modification. Now, effect of crystal field splitting. So look at here, the crystal field splitting energy and electronic arrangement in octahedral complexes. Basically most of the question are asking from octahedral complexes, so that's why I discussed this in detail. Now you know that P equal to pairing energy required to overcome Coulombic repulsion when two electrons occupy the same orbitals. So dear students, I also told you that in all the cases, if delta O, that is crystal field splitting energy in octahedral complex, is more than P, that is pairing energy, then a low spin configuration is favored energetically. That means spin paired complexes are favored. Now look the table. Here one table are given to explain about the filling of electrons when delta O is more than P or delta O is less than P, and also crystal field splitting stabilization energy given here. So this table told you what I want to say about the crystal field splitting energy. So now look the configuration. Then ions are given, then a stronger field or strong field, that is low spin or spin paired complexes. In that condition, when delta O is more than P, then low spin delta O is more than P, or high spin delta O is less than P. Then weaker field or weak field high spin or spin free complex when delta O is less than P is given the form of table. So now look the condition in configuration D0, D1, D2, D3, and the ions in which this configuration occurs. So D0 occurs in scandium 3 plus, D1 occurs in titanium 3 plus, D2 occurs in titanium 2 plus, D3 occurs in vanadium 2 plus and Mn 3 plus. Now if strong field ligands are attached, in that condition no effects are there. So that's why either in strong field or weak field there is no effect of the ligands. So that means in this condition the filling of electrons in T2g and Eg orbitals are similar. So look the condition T2g 0, Eg 0 in D0 case, in D1 case T2g 1, Eg 0, in D2 case T2g 2, Eg 0, D3 case T2g 3 and Eg 0. So this will follow the Horn's rule. Either the strong field and weak field are attached. This condition will follow in all the cases where delta O is more than P or delta O is less than P. So that's why when D contains 0 to 3 electrons, in that condition no requirement to see the strong field ligands or weak field ligands. Now the crystal field splitting stabilization energy for this condition, in case of D0 this is 0, in case of D1 it is 0.4 delta O, in case of D2 0.8 delta O, and in case of D3 1.2 delta O, because no electrons on Eg, so that's why all the electrons are in T2G which follow the Hund's rule. So these are the conditions for D0 to D3. Now let us focus on the D4 to D7. This I also told you that basically you have to more focus on D4 to D7 configuration, where basically you have to see the effect of strong field and weak field ligands. So now look at here, in D4 Mn3 plus, here T2G contains 4 electrons, Eg contains 0 in case of delta naught is more than P, and the value of delta naught is here 1.6 delta naught and minus P. Here P is pairing energy because 1 electrons are involved in pairing in this configuration. Now in D5 configuration Mn2 plus, here T2G contains 5 and Eg contains 0 electrons. Now the C of Sc is 2.0 delta minus 2p because 2 electrons are in the pair. Then D6 Fe2 plus, here T2G 6 Eg 0. Here the crystal field stabilization energy 2.4 delta O minus 3p because 3 electrons are paired in T2G orbital. Now D7 configuration, this is basically belong to the CO2 plus. So T2G contains 6 electrons and 1 electrons in Eg. Now the condition is 1.8 delta O minus 3p because 3 electrons are also involved in pairing. So this is the condition for basically when delta O is more than P. So they do not follow the Hund's rule. Now come on the right side of this table. So D4, D5, D6, D7, when weak field ligands are attached, so T2G contains 2, Eg contains 1 electrons, here 0.6 delta O, no pairing of electron take place, that's why no minus pairing energy required. In case of D5, T2G contains 3 electrons, Eg contains 2 electrons, so this gives 0.0 delta O. In D6 configuration, T2G contains 4, Eg contains 2, so this show the energy 0.4 delta naught, that delta O minus P. Then D7 configuration, T2 G5 Eg2 0.8 delta O minus 2p because 2 electrons are in paired form. So these are the configuration in weak field ligands. So that's why basically you have to focus on D4 to D7 configuration, where the effect of strong field and weak field ligands are seen. In case of weak field ligands, they follow the Hund's rule, but in case of strong field ligands, they do not follow the Hund's rule. Now again D8 to D10, they have same condition. There is no requirement of strong field and weak field condition. They give the same conditions, either strong field attached, either weak field ligands are attached. So look the condition, they also follow the Hund's rule. T2G 6 Eg 2, then T2G 6 Eg 3, in D9, in D10 T2G 6 and Eg 4. So these are basically due to Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity, and the CF SC for D8 is 1.2 delta O, for D9 0.6 delta O, and for D10 0.0 delta O. So this I also told you that for D10 and D0 configuration, either strong field or weak field attached. In this condition, they have no crystal field splitting energy, but in D5 only for weaker field ligands they show the 0 crystal field splitting energy. So this table basically explain the concept of weaker field and stronger field ligands and also the configuration of d orbitals. So again I told you that you have to see the effect of strong field and weak field only in case of d4 to d7 configuration. Rest of octahedral complexes have no effect to the attachment of ligands either weak field or strong field. So many times one question may be asked like this: D4 configuration, write the filling of electrons according to the condition when delta O is more than P and delta O is less than P. So this type of configuration you can written like this in the form of T2G, EG. Nowadays students. So now focus on the worked out example. First, give the electronic configuration of following complexes on the basis of crystal field splitting theory. Here the complexes are CO F6 square bracket 3 minus, FeCN6 square bracket 4 minus and copper ammonia whole 6 square bracket 2 plus. Now let us focus on the solution. So CO F6 square bracket 3 minus. So first of all you have to calculate the oxidation number of central atom. Here the central atom is CO and the oxidation number of CO is plus 3. In this condition this have D6 configuration and you know that F is basically weak field ligands, so that's why it follow the Hund's rule and the filling of electron take place according to Hund's rule. So look at here, T2G contains 4 electrons and EG contains 2 electrons. So this is the configuration of CO F6 square bracket 3 minus complex, then FeCN ka whole 6 square bracket 4 minus. Now here the charge on Fe is plus 2. In this condition again D6 configuration, but Cn is the ligands, that is the strong field ligands. So that's why all the electrons goes to T2G orbitals which are against to Hund's rule. Now third, Cu ammonia whole 6 square bracket 2 plus. So this contains plus 2 charge. In this condition D have 9 electrons and the filling of electron take place according to Hund's rule. This I told you that you have to basically see the strong field and weak field activity in D4 to D7 configuration. Here this have D9 configuration. So that's why no requirement to see the ligands attaches strong field or weak field. So look at here, T2G6, EG3. This is the basically according to Hund's rule. So these are the answer of the questions number 1. Are you getting this? Now explain why Fe water ka whole 6 square bracket 3 plus H magnetic moment value of 5.92 bm more magneton, whereas FeCN whole 6 square bracket 3 minus have the value of only 1.74 bm Bohr magneton. So now look the answer. In case of FeCN ka whole 6 square bracket 3 minus, this involve D2sp3 hybridization. This I told you that the Cn cause pairing of electrons. So that's why all the electrons of iron, that is D5 goes to the T2G orbitals. So that's why this involve D2sp3 hybridization with 1 unpaired electrons, and in case of Fe water whole 6 square bracket 3 plus, this also contain D5 configuration, but due to water which is the weak field ligands, no pairing of electrons occur in T2G orbitals. So that's why all the orbitals have single electrons and hence this involve sp3d2 hybridization. That means it use outer d orbital for hybridization and this contains 5 unpaired electrons. So this difference is due to the presence of strong field Cn minus and weak ligands water in this complex. And I also told you that one formula to calculate the value of mu, that is magnetic moments. So mu equal to under root n plus 2. So in first case n is equal to 1. So that's why n 1 in bracket 1 plus 2. So that's why it gives under root 3. And in case second case, that is in case of Fe water ka whole 6 square bracket 3 plus, this have 5 unpaired electrons. So that's why 5, then 5 plus 2 7, so under root 35. This will gives the value of mu 5.92. So by this way you can also calculate the value of mu if you know the number of unpaired electrons in the given complex. Now question number 3. Arrange the following complex ion in increasing order of crystal field splitting energy, that is delta O. So this can be calculated if you know that the spectrochemical series. So if you see the electrochemical series, so Cn ions is come at the second top position after the CO, that is the Cn is more stronger field ligand than ammonia, and ammonia is more stronger than Cl. So that's why the crystal field splitting energy increases in the order Cr Cl whole 6 square bracket 3 minus, then Cr ammonia whole 6 square bracket 3 plus, then Cr Cn whole 6 square bracket 3 minus. So more the stronger ligands, more will be the crystal field splitting energy. So this you can find from the spectrochemical series. Now question number 4. Why do compound having similar geometry have different magnetic moment? So this type of question may be arises. This is also solved by the knowing the weak field and strong field ligands and D4 to D7 configuration. So basically this is due to the presence of weak and strong field in the complex. If CF-SC is high, the complex will show low value of magnetic moments and vice versa. Here examples are given. CO Fe6 square bracket 3 minus and CO ammonia whole 6 square bracket 3 plus. In both the case CO have plus 3 charge, but ligands are changed. So that's why the former is paramagnetic and the later is diamagnetic, because ammonia cause pairing of electrons. So that's why later is diamagnetic. So by this way you can solve the question like this. Now question number 5. Copper sulfate dot 5 water is blue in color while copper sulfate is colorless. Why? So look the answer. In copper sulfate dot 5 water act as ligands. As a result of this, it causes crystal field splitting. Hence DD transition is possible in copper sulfate dot 5 water and show color. But in case of anhydrous copper sulfate, due to absence of water, that is ligands, crystal field splitting is not possible and hence no color is observed here. So this type of question may be arises in the board examinations. So all these 5 questions are very important for board examinations. This also clear the concept of crystal field theory and also crystal field splitting energy and stabilization energy. Nowadays students, do all work in classwork copy, prepare a note with the help of PPT video and also with the help of NCERT. Stay safe, stay healthy and keep learning. Thank you dear students.